Hi everybody, Sanbonani. Welcome to my channel. Igama lami Ntando Mdletshe, and on this channel sikhuluma ngama-reality TV shows, ama-celebrities kanye nama-YouTubers. If it is your first time joining me today and you really like my content, do not forget to press the subscribe button. Kanti-ke, you can support the channel by liking the video, and please the adverts on this video. So you guys, we're going to talk about this one. Okay, this one, Rosemary Ndlovu. Okay, Rosemary Ndlovu is a convicted criminal. She is in prison right now. I believe that she's serving life. Rosemary Ndlovu was the member of SAPS, South African Police Services, which made this case really even more interesting. And she was, you guys, a serial killer, but a serial killer that actually took the lives of her own family. Okay. A lot of the times when people speak about Rosemary, they refer to the six murders from her family. And but the thing about it is that it is possible that Rosemary did kill more people. It's just that the six people, it was easier to find evidence on them because they were family members, and she had taken life insurance policies on them. So it was not that it was easy to investigate the case, but it was easier than maybe the people that she might have killed that were not her family members, and that maybe that she had not taken insurance policies on them. So last time, you guys, we did talk about the murder of Uzanele, and then after that, it was her brother Moyeni Mashaba, who Rosemary had pretended that she was taking care of him because, of course, Zanele was no longer around, and then she had called Moyen Mashaba to say, let's meet somewhere. Don't bring any of your friends. They go in the meet somewhere by the river. He is shot, you guys. So when the body was found, like I said last time, of course, it is found with the phone right next to him. There was money on him. And it was clear that this was not a case where maybe he was being marked and then he was shot. No, it did look like, okay, it must have been something else because of course he had money with him and the phone was there, and of course the last number that was dialed was of Rosemary Ndlovu. They do talk about how strange it was that when she was called, she was she knew exactly where the place was where Moyeni was found, and she was there within 30 minutes. She's walking, and so it did look like she must have been just around the corner. So basically, the boy was murdered, and then she waited somewhere for the police to call her. And of course, she when she got there, she identifies the body, and also, confirms that it is her family member. Okay. And what we learn honestly from this case is how much our cell phones are important, and it's important for us to carry the phones wherever we go, because honestly, for a lot of the investigation when it comes to this case, a phone is being used to not only locate the victims where they went before their lives were taken, but also Rosemary. And when they checked the phone, got Rosemary, wherever Moyeni was, she was there too, until a point where Moyeni was shot. Then the phones go their separate ways. So the phone in this case helped a lot, you guys. So yes, so Moyeni now his life is taken, and of course the family is traumatized too. I don't know if at this point the family Yagandlovu realized that all of these matters had to do with or Rosemary, or they were just, they don't talk about that. They don't talk about whether they suspected. And remember, you guys, we don't have a lot of participation from the Ndlovu family. The person that is the main participator in the documentary when it comes to the Ndlovu family is a sister, okay? And she only became aware that Rosemary had anything to do with what was happening when, at the end, when Rosemary was getting arrested because she had tried to arrange for the hitman to take care of her and the kids. That's when she became aware. The other family members, honestly, I don't know if they were any suspicions within the family. You could see Rosemary was the one, you guys, that was doing all of this. Okay, at this point, you guys, of course, they had not told Rosemary in there was their intention. They had not told her that she was being investigated. The investigator does say that the only case that she was aware that was being investigated was Maurice's death, and obviously maybe she was thinking that it's going to be a cold case because nobody had been arrested on that case, and nobody had contacted her or questioned her or anything like that. So basically, they were hiding the fact that they were investigating all of these cases, you guys. Now we go back to Rosemary's sister. Remember, Audrey Ndlovu, who is the second born, Yaga Ndlovu, had been her life had been taken as well. She had a son, okay, and her son was grown, and now his mother had passed, and he is thinking, okay, he had heard something about his mom having had insurance policy, so now he's trying to investigate as to what happened to the money because he never got any money from her mother passing, okay, from his mother passing. So now he's trying to find out what's happening with Imalgama, and I guess that he had contacted the insurance company and they had told him that Imali was taken by family members. He speaks to family members. Of course, Joyce, who's the last born, the sister Rosemary Ndlovu, doesn't know anything. Ukoko doesn't know anything, and he had been close with his paternal family. Okay, so at this point they do get an aunt from his paternal family to participate in a documentary, and she does say that when they realized that there was something offish about how nobody knew where the money had gone, she had advised Brilliant, who is the son to the sister, Ka Rosemary Ndlovu, to say, listen, I understand you want this money. We don't know what happened to it. If they say they don't know, I think that you should just move on with your life, prepare for your future, go to school, find a job, and take care of yourself. Forget about this money, honestly. And I guess that for Brilliant, it was hard for him to just say, I give up on getting this money because. Imagine if you have lost your mother and you know that there was money that was supposed to at least take care of you, but you don't know who took it. You would want to find out. So that's what he was trying to do. Brilliant, which was not a good idea, honestly, because they do say that he had called Rosemary Ndlovu to ask her, and Rosemary had told her that the grandmother and the younger sister must have taken the money. Okay, and in that communication they started developing that relationship where they talked all the time. The aunt does say that it was very weird that Brilliant, when he would talk to Rosemary Ndlovu, he will move away from them. Like, let's say you in a room with Brilliant and Brilliant gets a call from aunt, he'll be like, aunt is calling me, aunt Rosemary is calling me, apumendlin. And they never used to understand why that was. She says that at some point she does ask him, "Ukuthi, why do you walk away when you talk to your aunt?" And he said that there are things that we are talking about that are a secret. We're talking about some family secrets. And she found that to be weird that that was happening. Okay. Brilliant was unemployed at this point, you guys. And maybe that's a reason he was trying to fight so hard to find out what happened with his mother's money. So as he is unemployed, he's looking for a job. That's an opportunity for Rosemary because Rosemary calls him to say, come to Johannesburg. I've got a job opportunity for you. And that's exactly what he does. He goes to Johannesburg to actually stay with Rosemary, and Rosemary was going to be helping him to find a job, you guys. And that was it when it comes to Brilliant, because the next time that people knew of Brilliant, someone had seen him with Rosemary Ndlovu somewhere in Kempton Park. He wasn't looking good at all. This person even offered to Brilliant food because they did not understand why Rosemary was not taking care of him. He didn't look like he was in a good space, you guys. After that, you guys, after this person, there is a witness that said that she had seen Brilliant with Rosemary Ndlovu, and he was not looking well at all. The next morning, his body was found under at Bushbuck Ridge, okay, and he had been seen in Kempton Park. So, and the body was badly injured. The family does talk about how heartbroken they were for those news because, of course, Audrey had passed away, the mother, and now the son. The younger sister, really, Rosemary Ndlovu, is heartbroken about it. She says that, you know, not that she understands why Rosemary killed Audrey, but she says that why couldn't she just let the son live? Remember, Joyce was very close with Audrey, so for her to lose not only her sister but lose also her nephew, it was really heartbreaking for her. The person really that is part of the investigation does talk about how Rosemary at this point was not even showing any sympathy or empathy when it came to the identification of the body. She does say that it was strange that even when she would talk about the finding of the body and how the body was like, she was just cold about it. She'd be like, no, okay, no, you know what? Let's just say they're saying, okay, is this your family member? It's like, yeah, but it's strange. Ubengagqokile kanje last time, ngimbona. You know, that kind of a thing. And she didn't do the drama like she did when she was identifying the person that was supposed to be her spouse. Because remember, one of her cousins, she had pretended as if it was her husband because that's how she had registered her cousin as in the insurance policy. So, but with the others, they're talking about how she wasn't as dramatic when the whole process of identifying the body and all of that was done. Okay, they do go into details, you guys, and it's hard to describe as they describe how bad the body was beaten, especially in the head. Remember, you guys, Rosemary was making sure that these people's lives were taken in a way that it will the person would qualify for an insurance policy. Okay, and apparently it's a different thing if a person is shot, if a person is stabbed, so it has to look like it's an accident. Okay, and if somebody is found in the bush somewhere injured, you know, you can just say it's an accident. So he was trying, so those people were suffering around Rosemary before they actually passed. Whether she was the one that was actually carrying these murders or she always used a hitman, that is still in question, because there are instances where they haven't found out who actually carried those murders. They know that she organized them, they know that she got money from them, but they do not know if she was the one that carried out the murders or she actually hired somebody, you guys. So they do say that Rosemary did come to the funeral. Brilliant, uh, and the sister does talk about how strange it was, you guys, that she was a little bit distant when they were doing arrangement for the funeral, and I think she does talk about how she came to the gravesite. Ngathi she did not come in a kaya, but came to the gravesite, and of course acted like she was hurt. And Nyamazi kuyathanda ukuquleka, so this was her acting so that she can convince the family that she is hurt by the passing of her niece. She says that she came with somebody that they did not know who was driving the car, came to the gravesite and acted all dramatic and wanted to fall down and all of that. And then she left early. And after that, they never really saw Rosemary. Okay. Now, you guys, at this point, they do add another story, which I really honestly had forgotten about. Remember when Rosemary got arrested, there was another woman that was arrested, which was Nomsam Dow. Okay, Nomsam Dow had been a friend to Rosemary Ndlovu. Okay, she was recruiting. It was like now she's becoming an agency, you know, when it comes to people that were going to do the same thing that she was doing. I don't know if she was going to get a cut now from people murdering their own family members so that they could get money from insurance policies. But she had recruited a friend of hers called Unomsamdao. Unomsamdao was a colleague that they say was very committed at work. Even her husband speaks of how it was she was very committed when it came to her work, but the issues came when it came to how she conducted herself at home, you guys. And I really feel like when it comes to the members of South African police services, I do feel like there is an issue that needs to be talked about on how they carry themselves when it comes to the family members, because there's usually allegations of them being abusive to family members. And I know a family member that went through that was married to a policewoman, you guys, and his life was in danger at some point, and so that's what the husband is saying, that she was very committed to her work, but the way that she conducted her family, it was like it was the military. She was so strict to him and the kids, and very controlling to him and the kids. He says that at some point he even said himself, we could say, what, the way that you act with us as a family is like one day you might actually kill me. But he did not even think that what he was saying was actually going to happen. Okay, so now Justice says that one day he gets a knock at the door, and it's somebody that says, listen, I've been sent to you to actually protect you. And he's like, protect me from what? And he says that, let's speak outside. And then they talk with this guy. This guy says, listen, I'm from the hostel actually, and I'm here with Inkabi. And I only came here because I am vendor, but I came here as an interpreter. These guys called me as an interpreter. They right around the corner. It's like, interpreter for what? And he's like, they have been hired to take your life. And he's like, hired by who? Is like, your wife. Okay, and I can take you to them around the corner because they do want to talk to you. He says that the whole thing seemed like a dream to him, because even though the guy was telling him what was happening, but he felt like this cannot happen, even though it makes sense that, his wife might be trying to kill him. But he's like, is this guy for real? He really felt like at that time that he might get killed that night. Okay, so he asked one of the neighbors to accompany him to the corner because he needed to speak to these people. Then he goes around the corner, and then he finds some guys there, and they talk to him. They say, listen, we have been hired by your wife, and he cannot believe the story. And they're showing him messages on the phone, on them talking to his wife. Listen, we are talking to your wife, here are the messages and all of that. And he says they show him four or five different numbers that they were using to speak to his wife, and he did not have those numbers. So initially he was like, this is not my wife, because he does not use this number. But one of the numbers that they show him finally was the number that he had of his wife. And he saw the conversations, he saw how many times his wife had called them arranging for the murder. And then he believed them. These guys had said that the reason that they were telling him this is because ever since that they had got this job from his wife, Unomsa, they had not been able to sleep at night. Guys, amanye amadlozi, they work overtime, okay? Kusho ukuthi they work overtime because they said that ever since they got a job to actually take his life, they were not able to sleep at night. They were having nightmares about it. So what ended up happening is that they went to Isangoma. Beyohlola ukuthi kanti what's happening. Isangoma was like, you guys just recently got a job to take somebody's life. Do not do it. Okay? Don't do. If you do Sorry, you guys, something was happening with the camera. So the Isangoma says, "Because listen, if you take this job, you're not gonna be able to have any rest in your life ever. So the only way that you can stop all of this is if you go and confess to the person that you were supposed to kill." So they go and they tell him. He is shocked, okay, that this is actually happening, what he thought will happen. Because remember, he had said to his wife, the way that you behave around me, it looks like you might actually be, you might actually take my life. So, but he decides to go to the police station. He goes to the police station, and he asks to talk to a police officer, and he is taken to the station commander. That's where he starts to tell them the story of how his wife was trying to take her life. Okay. Now, you guys, remember, there is a police officer that, remember when Rosemary Ndlovu started doing this whole thing, there was a police officer that had been on leave that she had called to ask him if he knew of any hitman. Okay. So that police officer now, he gets a call, okay, gets a call from somebody from the hostel, okay. This person from the hostel says, listen, let's meet up. I need to talk to you about something. So he goes and he meets this guy. And he says that this guy, he had known him because they were all from KZN. So this guy comes and says, listen, uh, we want to tell you something about one of the SAPS members. He's like, who is that? They say Rosemary Ndlovu. He says, what happened? She said, Rosemary Ndlovu got us a job, okay? She had hired us for a job to go to her homestead and kill her mother, her sister, and the kids there, okay? And then one of us, who was Umkize, the hitman, went, okay? He went there, but when he got there, for some reason, he changed his mind, because when he saw how old Rosemary's mother was, he just got cold feet and came back and never killed the mother. Okay. And then he says, and then, oh yes, and then they had made another attempt, to also take the sister's life. The same thing happened. One hitman had gone to the sister's house. When he got there, he asked for water from one of the children. But then he saw that the sister had just given birth. Remember, Joyce has a lot of kids, you guys. I think she has like 5 kids, and asked for water. When he saw that this woman had just given birth, ubenosana oluncane, like really like baby, he just went back. Okay. One of the daughters does talk about how strange it was when this man came to the house and asked for water, but he seemed to be looking around for things that he did not even she did not understand, and she just got a weird feeling about it, that this guy had come and asked for water, but he did not look like he really was thirsty, because he did not drink much of the water that he had asked for. This had been a plan with Rosemary Ndlovu. Okay. Okay, no, we'll talk about that later, because that comes later on when they do a sting. But this his man decides, I'm not killing nobody who just had a baby. And remember, he was supposed to kill not just the sister, but also the kids. Okay. And he decides that he's not going to do that. He goes back, he destroys the phone, so that Rosemary is not able to get hold of him. So now, when they contact this police man, now they tell him everything to make him believe the story. They're like, listen, there's been a lot of murders that have taken place here. And then they tell him about this person and this person, the family members. They say, Rosemary is our client, okay? But, oh yes, Rosemary is our client. But remember now, the guys that had contacted the Nomsam Dow's husband, those guys had told the police, had told the husband that their client is actually Rosemary Ndlovu. But Rosemary Ndlovu had brought them a new client who is Nomsa Ndlovu. So Nomsa Ndlovu was a new client. Okay. So when he goes to the police station and tells them about his wife trying to kill him, he also mentions that, listen, these guys did tell me that their client is actually Rosemary Ndlovu. So my wife is actually new to them. And then that's when the police are connecting that, you know what, this is the person that we are investigating right now. Okay. This policeman, remember, this policeman that the hitmen are calling, Previously he had been scared to actually talk about what Rosemary had asked him, even though he had connected the dots that Rosemary actually did kill her husband. Okay, but he was scared that his life will be in danger, and also he was scared that he will have to be transferred M17 if he does that. But he decides this time, because you know what, let me tell the colonel what happened. Okay, so he goes to the station commander, asks him for a private meeting, sits down and tells him, listen, I got a call from these people from the hostel. This is what they are saying about Rosemary Ndlovu, but they want to talk to you. Okay. So then the station commander goes to the hostel, and he does say that at some point he thought that he was being set up. Because remember, you guys, even though these are policemen and women, they also commit crime. So you never know, if a colleague of yours says, listen, there are guys at the hostel that want to see you, he might just be arranging for your murder. Okay, so he goes there and he says that initially he thought, you know what, this, my life is in danger here, this might be the end of my life. Okay, but then when the guys come, because they were already waiting for him, they get in the car, they start talking, then he realizes that, you know what, they actually have information on Rosemary, you know. So they tell him all the information that they had, that Rosemary had hired them to go to Emakaya to kill the mother and the sister, but they had changed their mind and whatever. So they hadn't spoken to him since then, you guys. So fine. Remember, oh, Justice Mdau had been to the police station and reported it. And of course, when he reported the case, they connected that it had to do also with Rosemary Ndlovu. So the intelligence police officers were called in, and then they decided that it wasn't safe for him to go home. So they took him to the safe house. So he went to the safe house while they were investigating the case, because they told him they're very close to catching Rosemary Ndlovu. I do not know what did they tell Justice Mdau's wife in terms of where he was at the time, but they just said to him that, you know, you can't go home right now, because of course if you go home, then you're going to die. You know, your wife will kill you. So they had to arrange for a sting operation now, and of course there are papers that they have to get approved by the court if they do such. Set up on a criminal, and of course they had their hitmen as the informants who were giving them information. So what they decided to do, because of course if they use people that were new and were not known to Rosemary, it was going to be weird to Rosemary that someone else was going to approach her and say, listen, I can go and kill your mother and your sister, you know. So they decided to use Inkabi that she had approached before. So basically one of them had to go back and say, listen, I'm ready to do this work. Okay. And obviously Rosemary was happy about it, because she wanted it done. Okay. And the sad thing about this part of the story, you guys, is that she was planning to take the life of the mother, the sister, and the kids. But all of the kids she did not have any policies on the kids. The only reason she wanted them gone is because she knew that if she kills the sister who was taking care of the kids, then the kids will be left with her. The responsibility for the kids will be left with her. So she just wanted the money, but she did not want to have any kind of responsibility after that. That's why she wanted the kids gone. So then they set up the sting operation. Now all of the investigators are now involved in the sting operation. Okay, and now the plan was, we go to Rosemary. Rosemary, I'm ready to, do the work for you. Rosemary was very happy about it. She had to create an alibi. So what she did was she admitted herself to a mental hospital. Okay, I remember when I heard that, and I was like, there is the right place for Rosemary to be. It's a mental hospital. But I was like, but that is not it, because in the mental hospital, you have very good people who are just having mental health issues. Oh, Rosemary is an evil person. We need help for her. You know, she needed to be admitted to help, basically. You know, so she admits herself to a mental hospital. She says she's going through depression, stress, because she needed to create an alibi for her. Because if they ask, "Gut, where were you when when this happened to the phone?" She can say that, "Oh my God, I was in the hospital. I wasn't well," you know. So but she asked for a pass out at the hospital so she could go out for a day and do something that was urgent. Okay. Now everything is set up. The car that they were going to drive in to go to Pushback Ridge to the family was set up with the cameras and audio recorders, everything. Okay. And and then the Inkabi had to be with someone in the car whom he just introduced as another Nkabi. Okay, because obviously they have to make sure that they have conversations here, so these people will be witnesses even though everything was being recorded. Okay, so then the plan was Rosemary was going to drive with them to her sister's house and show them the house. Okay, and then after she shows them the house, they were going to drive back to the taxi rank. She takes a taxi, she goes to the hospital, she's admitted in the hospital, so that when the whole thing happens, she is in the hospital. Okay. So they drive. On the way there, this is where we get that very popular or famous video and audio where she is sitting in the car driving with these guys and she is explaining how she wants the family to be killed. She talks about how they must not shoot them, they must not stab them, they must burn the house. Okay, this is what she says. Okay, she says that when they get to the house, because her sister had flu. Okay, she had called her sister. Her sister had said, "Listen, I have flu." So she says to the sister, "Listen, I'm going to send somebody there to bring you medication for the flu," okay, which was basically a drug that was going to make them drowsy and sleepy with the kids. And then they were going to, do the operation now, okay, finish the project. So now she says to her sister, "You know what? When he comes, don't only drink the medication, but make sure you give it to the kids because it's possible that the kids have got whatever it is that you have." So the medication was going to be given to her, the sister, and was going to be given to the kids too. Her sister talks about how she felt so proud that she had such a caring sister who was taking care of her because she wasn't well. Okay, so they're driving now to the sisters to Pushback Ridge, but there were two other cars that were following them with the investigators and the police there. Okay, so they get to where they pass a garage, where they go to the garage and they buy a petrol. Okay, so they have 2 liters of petrol in the car because that's what they're supposed to do. So she says to them, when you get there, give them the medication, which obviously was a drug to make them drowsy and sleepy. And then once they are sleeping, or I guess they were unconscious, look for socks in the house and put the socks in their mouth. Okay, so that should they maybe wake up while the fire is starting, they won't even be able to breathe, and then they might just die from that because they smoke now, they can't breathe, there's socks in the mouth, they can't take it out, and then they can just die. These are the kids, the sister and the kids. Okay, so at this point, I don't know, guys, if she had given up on carrying the murder of her mother. I don't know. I don't know. But this was at the sister's house. So then they buy the petrol, get in the car. Then they go. She shows them the sister's house. This is the house where you will go. This is where you'll carry the whole project, and then they go back, to the section to drop her off so that she can go off, in the car, you guys, in the conversation with um the hitman. During the conversation, you can see that in the conversation they're trying to get as much information from her as possible so that she can confirm that yes, she has hired them to kill her family. And she does confirm. She speaks as if she is talking about like having lunch or something, and she's talking about killing her own family. Rosemary was very evil, you guys. She was very evil. She's not normal. It's not even one of those things where you have one evil thought as a person. She was just evil. you know. And so when they go to drop her at the taxi rank so that she can go back, that's when the police decide that it's time, they have enough to get her, and it's better to get her before she actually commits another murder, which was going to be her sister and the kids. They get her and they go to the sister's house with her just for the sister to say, yes, this is her sister. She just confirmed this is her sister, and she's confused. The sister is confused because she says one evening she was about to cook, and then the police just arrived with her sister, and all they asked her was, do you know this person? She says, yes, I know her. Who is she? She is my sister. Then she gets arrested. Then the police sat down with her and told her that, listen, nicishe nafa nina today. You were about to die, and your sister was about to kill you. You know, and the kids. I guess it was in the afternoon because the kids were coming back from school. They told them, and she says that the kids just started crying because, of course, they did not understand what was happening here. Our aunt tried to kill us. I don't know, you guys. Was it a good idea to actually tell the kids what happened? Because I feel like the kids must have been traumatized. Okay, so she gets arrested. 3 days later, Nomsa Mdai, the one who tried to kill her husband, also gets arrested. The husband gets to go home. I think that he decided that he needed to move out of the house where they lived because the whole time he says he felt like he was in a movie because who would believe that their own wife would arrange for their own killing? Okay, so yes, Nomsa also gets arrested. So far, we don't know what happens with Unomsa, if she got convicted or not, but this is part 3 of the documentary. I believe that we are still to have part 4. Maybe we will find out what happened to her. And also, we don't know if with Unomsa, this was the first murder that she was about to commit, but we do know that Inkabi said that she was a new client to them. So she might not have been killing for the first time, but to them it was the first time that they were hired by her. Okay. So yes, you guys. So far they go up until that point where Rosemary does get fired. The sad part about this is the sister, you guys, because she does say that she got blamed a lot by the family, that she was the one that actually got her sister arrested, which is not true because the police were on to her sister anyways. They were going to arrest her. All she did was say, yes, this is my sister. When they asked her, is this your sister? Okay, she said, yes, this is my sister. But, the family blamed her. Even the mother blamed her. I believe that they never had a good relationship after that with her mother because her mother never understood why she got her sister arrested. Okay, she said that the only support that she has received is the support from the community because, of course, her mother chose the sister's side. That is weird to me, you guys. It's weird that the mother still didn't believe that Rosemary had done all of these things, you guys. So yes, you guys. So now she is behind bars, and the investigator does say, you guys, that you know what, she wasn't very humble when she was being questioned about all of these matters. Okay, she did not want to answer questions. She would also be like, you know what, I need my lawyer. I don't have to answer any of your questions. So yeah, she wasn't an easy person to actually get a statement from. Okay, but after a while of her being in the cells, finally he got to charge her with the murders, and there was the start of everything that happened leading up to the trial. And I guess, you guys, in part 4 we're going to be seeing the theatrics now. Remember how she was in court. How she was in court. I guess go to part 4, they will be wrapping up and showing us that part of uh the story. Honestly, you guys, this story is like, honestly, was Rosemary evil from birth, or did money make her evil, or did greed make her evil? And also maybe it shows us that, like Kukuba evil sometimes, like that first murder that she got away with. That's why we have, justice system. Because maybe if she committed that first murder and got caught, then she would have realized this is wrong. And the fact that she got away with the first one and then the second one, and then she's getting more comfortable, manje. Maybe no value al some shy. It's getting easier and easier for her to commit these crimes. But I do have questions as to whether when a person is like this, are they born evil? Are they born? Is there something that's different within them? Because I can't imagine doing that to my family. Anyway, there was part two of the documentary. Please like the video before Pumegona. Tell me what you think about this part of the documentary if you watched it. Also, like the video before Pumegona. Share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ngenithanda kakhulu.